guest tonight is Wellington Pride winger, Oriental-Rongotai superstar, and Black Fern, Ayesha Leti-I'iga. Ayesha, thank you for coming on the Huddy Hui tonight. Last week, Wellington Pride kicked off their campaign against Otago, and you were out with an injury. Tell us about how that injury is coming along.
Yeah, unfortunately couldn't play, but it's a small injury, so I've injured my middle finger. Not the best injury to be out from, but I'm tracking along and hoping to be back for the Canterbury game.
How did the injury happen?
So at a training, my finger got caught in one of the girls' pockets, and yeah, so just been trying to recover from there, I guess.
Now, Ayesha, you're lucky to be paid as a Blackford now. Why are you trying to pickpocket your teammates?
Probably not enough, I guess.
Now, let's go back to the beginning of your rugby experience. Tell us when and why you started playing the sport.
So I started back in school in Oriental College, so rugby never would have been my first pick for sports, but I was always playing sports, and my uncle Terry Tamole and his daughters, Formai Tamole and Janet, they were coaching the Oriental College rugby team, and they were short of numbers and got me to fill in for a sevens tournament. And from that tournament, I kind of loved the sport and have been playing it since.
And you scored a try with your first touch of the ball for the Oriental College first 15. Tell us about your experiences in the Oriental College first 15.
Yeah, I remember that try as well. When I scored, I thought everyone just let me through, like they just watched me. And I had to double look at the ref if it was a try or not. But yeah, my love for rugby came from college, so it's been awesome.
Of course, speaking about tries, this season, Ayesha, you have scored 27 tries, 135 points from 11 games. Those are outstanding figures. But in the 2018 season, you scored 41 tries from 13 games. So you, in club rugby, you were a dangerous weapon. Tell us about the Oriental-Rongotai women's side. They've won the championship for the last 3 years in a row now.
Yeah.
And there's some great systems in place there. It's a good culture within the side. Give us an insight into the Oriental-Rongotai women's side.
Definitely, I think our successful season I'd have to put it down to a strong team culture. I guess we've been playing together for a long time as well. From the first time I played, probably 5 years ago, I've been playing alongside the same people, and I think that's why we've been successful. Yeah. In
terms of all those tries that you scored, Ayesha, in club rugby, what's your favourite one and why?
I always say they are team tries because without the others, I couldn't have scored those. But I don't have a favourite try. I'll just put it down to all of them are my favourite try.
There was one in the 2019 final against Norse at Petone when you ran from the 22 to the try line, and you can't blame your teammates for scoring that try because you beat 6 players on the way to the line. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do. I guess I'd have to put it down to the kick as well. So, well kick. They set me up for a good try.
And Ori's has launched a career for Wellington for you. So take us back to the beginning of your day in the Pride.
My first year of Pride, I was very nervous. I was still eligible to play for under 18s, and the Pride coach approached me saying, we feel like you would be awesome in the Pride team. And being young, I was so scared to play with older women, and I guess I kind of took myself out of it, trying to play for under 18s. But just a lot of encouragement from my family saying, you have nothing to lose. This is an opportunity for you. And my first year playing for Pride, I think it was one of my favorite seasons ever. Yeah.
And why was that?
So a few of the girls there who are currently playing overseas, like Georgia Dowes, Lizzie Golden, and all of them, they're probably my favorite people to play rugby with in the back line, and it's cool to see that they will be part of the Pride team this year.
And what about your favourite moment in the 34 games for the Pride? Is there a particular memory that stands out apart from that first season?
Yep, definitely my first year as well. Being exposed to rugby in that level, and it was my first time ever being in a final as well. We came up against Auckland, who were a strong team. Fortunately, we lost, but that was one of my highlights.
Of course, as well as playing for the Wellington Pride, you've also donned the black jersey, played for the Black Ferns, and your debut was against the USA at Soldier Field in Chicago. So tell us about when you got the call up to the Black Ferns and your experience pulling on the black jersey for the first time in Chicago.
Yeah. I'm going to get emotional. So getting the call up, I was so excited about it, and I think I was trying not to cry on the phone when I got the call up. But I think the best part of that was having to be able to tell my granddad that I made the team. He's been one of the biggest support systems that I've had throughout my rugby and life. So yeah, that call up and also putting on that jersey for the first time, I definitely had my tears back. Didn't want anyone to see me crying on TV, but I just felt like all the sacrifices that my grandparents did for me, like that was paid off. That one was for them, definitely for them.
Let's talk more about your grandparents, Ayesha, because you lost your mother young. Your grandparents have essentially raised you. Share with us just exactly what they mean and how you coped without having a mum.
Yeah, I love both my grandparents, but my granddad will be the person that I'm most close with. And I'm thankful for rugby because they brought our bond closer. I always say my granddad's like my coach off the field, and thinks he knows better than the coaches as well. But my upbringing, I guess my granddad's always told me, like, I've always had to work hard for what I wanted. It was never going to get handed to me. And just like little things, my granddad waking up at 5 o'clock to take me for morning runs. I was crying on the way to go to our morning runs, but looking back at it now, everything has definitely paid off, and I owe that to them.
And on that debut in Chicago, inevitably you scored a try for New Zealand.
Yeah.
So explain that try.
The first one was declined, so I was like, okay. I was like, one more. We got 5 more minutes. We can do this.
And in terms of all those tries that you score, there are players who have try celebrations. Have you run out of try celebrations? What do you do when you score a try? Some players dance, some players high five, others sing and dance. So what do you do?
I don't have a try celebration, but what I do on my way back to the restart, I always kiss my wrist. So I have this tradition where I write on my wrist, and it's the same thing every game. And like those tries that I score, I always feel like it's my granddad and my mum running alongside me.
The lips must be dry now.
Definitely dry.
So the Black Ferns are back on the international scene this year, fingers crossed, playing the Wallaroos in September and October as the curtain raises to the All Black tests. The Black Ferns, 2 tests against your fierce rivals in Australia. What are your chances like as a chance to make that side?
I know there's competition for my position, and I've been out of the the Black Ferns scene last year, just taking time off personally. And I guess myself, like anyone else who's gunning for the team, is definitely trying to get their starting spot. Well, that would be my goal. But the vibes for Black Ferns in camp and stuff have been awesome. And I guess I'm just going to try and work hard to at least make that 22.
You score 159 tries in 62 club games, and yet you're still in competition to get in the Black Ferns. Tell us about Renee Whitcliffe and Portia Woodman. They're experienced ladies. What's your relationship like with them, and what makes them good, and what contrasts you against them?
Yeah, they're awesome players. I haven't trained much with Portia Woodman in the Black Fern space. She's been away with sevens and also coming back from injury. But I've been grateful to be shadowed behind Pango, or Renee Whitcliffe. She's an amazing player on field and an amazing friend off the field. She's one who never holds back, always shares her knowledge with the up-and-coming wingers, and I'm grateful for that, because when I first joined the environment, it was pretty scary, so it's been awesome.
The Wellington Pride this season started with a win on Sunday. What were your observations of the performance, and what are the expectations this year?
Yeah, we had a good prep up to that game, and we felt like the game wasn't how we wanted to perform on that day. We came back with a lot of learnings and work on from that game. The biggest one was urgency. So so we just need to be more urgent over that ball, and just play as a team. We're still gelling, and we have a lot of new girls in our team as well.
Who's the hardest girl to mark in rugby? Because heaven forbid, if I was assigned the task of marking you, I would retire.
I'm glad you're not marking me then. Any person that I come against, they're always a threat. I don't look down on any other player. And of course, they're going to give it to me as well as I'm going to give it to them.
Massive opportunity next year for women's rugby in New Zealand. New Zealand hosting the Women's World Cup. That's a big motivator for any potential Black Fern. Tell us about, if you were selected for the World Cup next year playing in New Zealand, what would it be like for you?
Definitely emotional. That would be the biggest thing. So World Cup has always been my goal, more so me and my granddad's goal to make. So me gunning for the World Cup was so that I could play in front of him and I could get him there. Unfortunately, he's no longer here, so it's kind of made that goal at first hard, but now it's given me even more reason to gun for that World Cup team.
One of the things that's come across in this conversation, Ayesha, is you're a very spiritual and emotional person, and that's a beautiful thing. But do you realise that you've made more opponents cry than any other lady in Wellington rugby?
I hope they're happy tears, God.
I was going to say, what do you have to say to all those people that you've steamrolled, fended, and run away from in the years?
I just like to say sorry. It wasn't on purpose. But yeah. Way to put me on the spot, guys.
Well, Ayesha, it's been fantastic having you on the Huddy Hui. All the best with your recovery of your injury, and hopefully on the field against Canterbury.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.
Thank
you.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.